It's pretty late, and we're pretty tired, but you know what that means. We're still doing When Wellness, baby! Because we're here every day. We always do When Wellness, you guys. We would never miss a day. Of course, it's been almost 5 years straight, every day of When Wellness. And what better time than to talk about a question that was presented to us today that makes me very happy to answer. And that was, what sparked your passion? What invigorated you in regards to improving the health and lives of others, to being a chiropractor, to helping people feel better? And I don't attribute that to me, I attribute that to your own body, first off. I just put it in a position to function optimally, and it does the rest. And that is the whole idea behind what I do, really in every regard. You do everything. I just help you to see how to get there and help put you in that position. But also for fitness. Why? And aren't there days that you go because you feel as though you have to? Because you're mad at yourself if you don't go to the gym and work out or eat healthy. You force yourself to eat healthy all the time because you feel you need to. No one ever needs to do anything. No one ever needs to do anything except for eat, breathe, drink water, eventually sleep, go to the bathroom. We don't need anything. We choose what we need. I don't need to do it unless I need to do certain things for myself and for other people. And as far as my purpose in life is concerned, I do. I need to help as many people as possible to achieve as much as they possibly can for themselves in regards to health, in regards to motivation, mentally, physically, and spiritually. That's what I'm on this earth to do. That's why I do When Wellness. And it is a passion and a fire in me that will never die. I will maintain that for my whole life, and that makes me happy. So what sparked that? Well, let's go way back. And I think you guys will enjoy this story. Go pick up a bowl of popcorn, or better yet, blueberries. And popcorn has some fiber, it's insoluble. You're better off with blueberries. Has that and a lot of vitamins and minerals. Way back to where this all started with fitness. Well, I was 10 years old, and I was in the ground round. And I loved the ground round. I really did. Back then, there was a smoking section, by the way. When you walked into the ground round, shows you how old I am, right? That was the thing when I was a kid. I'm not that old. I'm only 33, if you guys were curious. And, you know, I would eat all the French fries in the world. I was the French fry king. I would eat French fries of everybody at the table. I would eat their fries, whoever had fries left. I would eat all the chicken tenders. They give you popcorn in the beginning. I'd eat that. I was a happy kid. I was athletic. I played sports. I wasn't by any means a fat kid, but I had a little 10-year-old chub to me, you know, naturally. I wouldn't say I was chubby, but I wasn't, you know, ripped or anything by any means. And I was sitting there and I was, you know, doing what a French fry king does best, eating French fries. And my pop said, "Shane's looking a little heavy." And I heard him say that. And I heard him say that to one of my parents, or both of them, whatever. And he didn't know I heard him. And I put my head down and I was upset. I was only a 10-year-old kid. And I put my head down and I thought, you know, am I chubby? I went home and, you know, I was quiet for a little bit at dinner. And I went home and I looked in the mirror and I grabbed this fat on my stomach. I don't know anything about exercise and nutrition and anything about anything. I was only 10 years old. And I said, well, you know, wouldn't it be nice if I could just go get a knife and just cut this off? Well, that doesn't seem like a good idea, of course. Even at 10, I knew, right? So I said, what if I could heat it up? What if I could just burn it? Make it on fire? I didn't know anything about fat burning or anything, right? Again, so I went on the ground. I laid down. I started moving around in all these ways. And I said, I don't feel, oh, that starts to burn. What was it? It was a sit-up. That starts to burn. Sit-ups and crunches, and moving in all these different angles. And I kept going, and I kept going. And I said, it's really on fire. I'm going to keep going. And I kept going, and I kept going, and I kept going until I couldn't do any more. So then I caught my breath, and I did it again until I couldn't do any more. And then I caught my breath and I did it again until I couldn't do one. Until I couldn't do one sit-up, one crunch. I went to bed. I slept great. And I woke up the next day and I was as sore as you could ever be in your entire life. I went to school walking around the 5th grade classroom. I could barely walk, right? I was so sore. I was bent over. I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? What did I do? This is crazy, but it feels like I did something. Feels like I did something. So maybe I'll go home and do it again. So I went home and I did it again. Did as many as I could. And I couldn't do as many that night because I was so damn sore, right? Don't say muscle group out 2 days in a row, right? We learned that at 10 years old. But really we didn't, because I went home and I did that every day for the whole year. I would go to soccer practice, I would come home, I'd do crunches, sit-ups. I would do them before I'd go. I'd do them, I got an ab lounge. The next year I asked my parents for one, that was my birthday present. Ab lounge, doing the jackknife, for those of you who remember, whatever. I had a 6-pack at 11 years old. I continued to work out. I got a Body by Jake. I had this woman bring a Body by Jake over from Sears who was very overweight, showed me how to use the Body by Jake with the bands, one of those band things, not like a really good one, no offense, Body by Jake. Got the job done at what was now about 12 years old, right? And, I would do that thing every night, pushing and pulling all these ways, didn't really know what I was doing. Do it till I felt it burn. Do it till I felt it heat up the area I was trying to work, and just kept doing it and kept doing it. And then I got some dumbbells. And by the time I was 13, I could take a 30-pound dumbbell behind my head, overhead tricep extension, and I could do 100 reps at once. For a 13-year-old, that's pretty impressive. Maybe not for somebody who's an adult, even though there's probably some adults out there that can't do it, but I did it every day. Right? And whatever you do every day, you're going to be good at. And I did it every day, not just because I wanted to see a change in my body, not just because my pop-pop said that, because I became addicted in the healthiest way. There can be a healthy connotation to that definition of addiction, right? Most often there's not. To improving myself. And that went so far beyond physically. Again, mentally, I started to feel good, and I was talking to girls, and I was in 7th grade, and I was confident, and I felt great. And I got better at my sports. I got better in sport. I had natural coordination and things, but now I was faster. Now I was stronger. And I felt really, really good. So I kept doing it. I kept doing it. I had my dad get me into the gym at 15. He had to show his ID. He had to be with me in there. I wasn't old enough to be alone. He would drop me off, get me in. I would go downstairs to the dungeon at Gold's Gym in East Northport, do my thing. I remember I was bench pressing. I was 15, right? And I had 185 pounds on there. And I did as many as I could, which was probably only a few at that age. And I brought it down on my chest for one more. I said I could do one more. There was no one down there. The gym closed at 11 p.m. and it was 10 o'clock or 10:30, right? They were going to close soon. Nobody down there. And it got stuck. Of course, I had clips on the ends because I was safe, right? Quite the opposite. You can't dump it. If you're alone, never use clips. I learned that lesson that day. So I'm sitting there stuck, and I go, hello? Nobody's anywhere. The janitor's not even there. He probably went home already. Who knows, right? They don't pay him enough to stay there that long. And so I sat there, and I had to roll it off my body, right? Now, all these things you go through in your journey, whether you're doing crunches wrong, you let a weight come down on your chest, you don't quite know what the hell you're doing, just know that it is very good for something if you can devote yourself to improving your health, your mindset, your physical capabilities, your appearance, how you feel all the time, and how you perform. And since I did that for myself for years and years and years, I said I want to share this with other people. I need to share this feeling with other people. I need to instill this in them. But I realized how I learned. How I learned was I did it to myself. So I can't just tell you to go do something. I can't just make a YouTube video that says, this is the proper form that you do, or one wellness video and you guys are going to go do that every day. I need to help you realize what you are capable of doing. And I guarantee you that 95% of you do not know that. I don't even know that for myself truly yet. Not that I'm some at the apex of this, not even close. Look at someone like Wim Hof, how he can control his internal physiological regulation with his thoughts, climb a portion of Mount Everest with his shirt off. There are levels to this, and I intend to reach the highest one. Not because I feel like I need to, not because I feel like I need to punish myself, but because I love myself, and I love helping other people, and I love instilling power in other people. And that's what When Wellness is about. And that's what When Wellness will always be about. No matter what products we sell, this and that. By the way, I haven't got $1 from subscription. It's 15 subscribers. It'd be a whopping $15 a month. It's 99 cents each, not even $15. I haven't got $1 of it, but I don't care. I don't do this for the money. Instagram, I guess, is keeping that money. Probably because I don't follow their guidelines. But I do it because I get messages from people that say, hey, you don't even know who I am. I'm this kid, random kid from Texas. I've been following your videos for 6 months. I've lost 30 pounds. Thanks. Ever since you talked about that keto video, ever since you talked about that video with the weighted push-ups, I've been doing, my core strength went up, the weighted that's what it's about. And I try to do the same thing in practice. So then I go through my life, right? And then, at Stony Brook, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I did biology over there. I had no idea at 18 what I wanted to do. I was business, then mechanical engineering, and then biology is what I ended at. And so then, I became fascinated with the human body. And I said, maybe I'll become a physical therapist, right? So I was going to be a physical therapist. And then I was playing a rugby game for Stony Brook. Actually, my last game playing for them, it was at a bowl game in North Carolina. We kicked the shit out of Cincinnati. It was freaking awesome. And had a good game. And the scouts came up to me afterwards and from chiropractic school, and they said, you could qualify for a substantial scholarship if you want to be a chiropractor. I said, what the hell is that? You deal with backs. I had never been to one. I didn't know anything about it. So I said, what the hell? Maybe I keep, take note of this. Probably never going to do this. Go enjoy the night. Have a couple with the boys, throw them back, celebrate. Got a call from admissions a few days later, and they said, you could get a good scholarship. We want you to come out and see the campus and maybe do a tryout for a % scholarship and this and that. I said, why not? That sounds fun. Could play some rugby and get a doctorate if it's something that I agree with. Of course, I did research before I flew out there. I said, it's pretty neat. You help correct misalignments in the spine. You help improve the function of the central nervous system. You help improve the function of their bodies, someone's health. I said, that's pretty cool. It's pretty much why I want to be a PT, help people get better, help them rehab and not get them stronger. So I went out there and I had a good tryout and got a good scholarship. And, I went to the Pi House, right? And this is the first time I ever went to the Pi House, Pi Kappa Chi. Represent, victory always. And I'm not a fraternity guy by any means, but I went in there and there were a bunch of chiropractic tables and there were all these plaques on the wall and it seemed pretty prestigious. And a young man named Matthias Rivers was there. And he said, you want an adjustment? I said, I don't know if I really need that. I'm here. I came to Iowa. I guess I should do what you guys do, or maybe me will do at some point. Maybe I said, sure. So I sat down, and he's moving my neck around. I'm like, what's going on? Oh, this feels weird. Oh! Holy shit! I was ready to, pin him against the wall. I don't know what just happened. And I said, I feel great. I feel great. Oh my God. I've never been able to move my neck like this. I feel fantastic. And Matthias, you convinced me right there, beyond any science and research or anything. So credit to you, my brother. I love you, man. And that was my first adjustment. And the rest was history. So then I went to chiropractic school. And it changed my mentality further. About how I could be totally natural and let the body heal itself. How I could have whole food from nature. A lot of nutrition we studied in chiropractic school. It's not just musculoskeletal things. It's not just the nervous system and anatomy and biochemistry and CNS and PNS and spinal anatomy and all this stuff. Pathology, a lot of that. But a lot of nutrition, right? So I became fascinated with nutrition. And then, I would say really my last year there, the first year you're in the books, your head's in the books, so it's kind of difficult to be that healthy. You order out and this and that. I began cooking a lot. Then I learned how to cook well, at least well enough to eat healthy. I'm by no means a master chef, right? But I started to feel really good, even better than I had felt when I was just working out all the time. And that was pretty damn good. So I said, where does this end? So then I became really healthy. And I said, maybe I won't drink anymore. Maybe I'll just drink on the 4th of July, my favorite holiday. A little bit, maybe 1 glass, something like that. Don't be black and white about anything, right? Enjoy life and do what you want to do. As long as you have pure thoughts and good intentions, you can do that, right? For the most part, I think. So anyway, so then, I'm in this state where I'm very healthy and I see how the body heals itself. And I thought, this is what my mom has been doing for years. This is why she preached, eat organic. This is why she preached exercise and all these things. And we thought she was crazy as a kid, eating her lentil soup and her big thing of broccoli rabe. The plate is this big of broccoli rabe. But she's in great shape, and that's mentally and physically. Spiritually, very connected, in a fantastic place in life. And so I wrote my thesis paper, and at the end of chiropractic school, in one of my last classes there, about how my mother and chiropractic changed my outlook on health in my life. And I carried that with me. So then I graduated chiropractic school. And I said, let's take on the world, baby. Can't wait. Can't wait. Right? As Bart Scott would say. New York Jets. And, of course, naturally, a week after I graduated, I'm on my way back from my trip with Sam Duncan, who I also love. Love you, man. Brother for life. We were in Colorado skiing, celebrate again, graduation on the way back. He said, there's some virus going around. And I heard of this virus. I said, okay, whatever. They canceled my Part 4 boards, of course. That was scheduled about 2 weeks out. And I was very prepared for it. So I said, all right. And they canceled it again. And I said, oh my goodness, what am I going to do in this time? And I thought of a book that I read, How Life Imitates Chess, by Garry Kasparov. And I remembered one section where he talked about the quiet time. And the quiet time, as he iterated, was a position in chess where you aren't exactly sure what to do, where you have no problem in front of you. There's really no puzzle to solve. It's in the opening, it's early. Just what route do you decide to go? What do you decide to do in that time when you're not forced to do anything? And you never want to be in a position where you're forced to do anything strategically. You're probably not doing well if that is the case, right? It's a whole nother video. So this was quiet time to me in COVID. And I could take that stimulus money and I could just go out and eat out and do whatever I wanted. Or I could buy supplements. And I could try to make a supplement that would enhance my mental and physical performance that was also healthy. And this is how Super You began. So as I started to do that, I had somebody ask me, hey, Shane, could you make a video and, or could you show me some workouts I could do at home? All the gyms this side of the Mississippi are closed. I don't really have anything at home. I don't know what to do. I was the workout guy, right? I've been for years. So I said, sure. So I said, Natalie, take a video of me. I'm going to do this, Send him a video. Somebody else asked me. So I said, all right, send him a video. And then I said, well, wait, what if I could just do this and I could give this to everybody? What sort of platform could I go on to get this information out to as many people as possible, to give them workouts to do at home so that they're healthier during COVID? Well, and that's when Wellness started, right? So my sister said, oh, there's this thing called Instagram, right? I never really used Instagram. I'm terrible with social media, as you guys can tell. I probably miss comments all the time and messages, and I'm really sorry about that. I'm just really busy, and I really hate social media, to be honest with you. I just use it as a platform to reach people. And so I started doing videos, right? And so I did a workout. I said, we'll do a workout today. Maybe I'll do a few straight. Maybe I'll do a couple workouts, couple days. Then they have a few they could do, and they could repeat them, whatever they want. So I said, all right, I'll do like a full body day. I'll do a core day. Maybe I'll do some upper body or something like that. What do I have in the house? I have a backpack. I could put books in that. I could do this. Oh, that's a good idea. I could do that. Oh, that's a good idea. I can do that. Oh, that's a good idea. I can do that. I can do that. I did a few days. And I was pretty sore, right? And I said, well, I could do tomorrow. I'll see how I feel when I wake up. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. And I did another day. And I did a week. And then I did 2 weeks. And then it was a month straight. Then it was 40 days straight. I'll never forget. I was up in Maine with my brother at Nick's shop. And I said, Even though I went away, I still want to do this video. I just feel as though I should do it. I want to give people more. I want to give more. And it also helped me. It helped me a lot, as it does every day. I have to go through research. I have to look back at old notes and refresh myself on all this information. It could be so easily forgotten and thrown to the wayside and just do things that are clinically relevant at this point. And of course I focus on that. But I did another day. It ended up being 381 days straight of When Wellness workouts. And then I said, well, after a year or so, maybe I should keep doing this. I'm really damn sore. I was going to the gym on top of that, wearing the mask. The guy was setting the lunk alarm off on me because I had my mask below my nose. It's really intelligent that you would worry more about me spreading something than passing out and smashing my face on the weights, right? While I'm doing high intensity exercise, sweating so much my mask is literally water, right? So I can't even breathe. So what I do, I poked a hole in it with a key, whatever. So I could breathe, right? And I did that. And I did When Wellness every day. So then I kept going and I said, all right, this next year, like I said, I'm really sore in this. And I'll do workouts someday. Maybe I'll just talk. Or maybe I'll talk. And then When Wellness Nerd Out time started. And so I just kept doing these videos. I kept doing them. And the feedback I got from people is what really has kept me doing them. I had a long day today. I work for 12 hours at least. Every day is like that. I'll go and ship out Super U. I'll go train people in the gym, 7 people, back to back for hours. Then I'll treat 15 patients. And I choose to do all of it. I choose to do it because it makes me happy to help other people. I'm not worried about anything with my body, with my mental condition. That's not why I make a point to play chess every morning and do research. Aside from helping people, it's about helping myself, optimizing my natural capabilities mentally and physically, fortifying myself constantly so that anything I encounter in life, I am in the best position. You never know what's going to happen, whether it means you have to protect a family member or you meet someone who is important in public and you needed to be sharp that day to make a good connection. But whatever it is, I don't worry about what can go wrong. I'm excited for what can go right. I want to instill that excitement for life that I have innate to me in other people. And so however you develop that, whatever journey you embark upon, take that home with you, please. It will change your life. And that is the story, really, of my fitness journey and When Wellness and why I do all this and why I love to help people. So I hope that answered your question. Who do we got out here? Frank, how you doing? Shay, what's up? Sibia. Melanie, Tara, what's up? Makeup, Vin, how you doing, man? Preston, Shay, Paul, what's going on? Insta, Megan, love you. Thank you. Chris, what's up? JBW, Brang, David, Dan, Sunrise, George, Official. Setting, appreciate the love, everybody. Aged to perfection. Good. Tommy Reed, I like it. Onion John, first one on. Thank you very much. And Fred Ed, as for now. So we got for you, folks. We'll see you tomorrow, baby. Not sure where, not sure when, but we'll see you then. You're damn right. Have a fantastic night and happy When Wellness. See ya.